Hi everyone, welcome to lesson 2.2. We're still talking about transformations, and this time we're talking about reflections. So a reflection is when all the points on the graph are flipped either over the x-axis or the y-axis. And they show up in equations with negatives. So if you have a negative outside the function, remember f is like, it's a placeholder for what the function is. If it's outside that function, it's a vertical reflection. And this is going to be a flip over the x-axis. So flip all points over the x-axis. So if here's our axes, this is y, this is x, you're flipping the points down over the x-axis. All right, if you have a negative inside the function, that's a horizontal reflection, and you're going to flip all points over the y-axis. So again, if these are our axes, here's x, here's y, you're flipping points this way, across the y. That's horizontal side to side, right? Okay, so we're going to do the same thing we did with translations. We're first just going to look at the equations. So we're going to identify what transformations have been done from the equation, and then we're going to practice writing equations, and then we'll do some graphing. So first, let's just identify the transformations. So here, x to the third, there's a negative out front. That's a transformation. And we just learned that a negative outside the function is a vertical reflection. So we would be flipping the function up and down. Okay, our next one has two transformations. We have a negative inside, and then we have a +4 outside the function. So the negative inside, this is a horizontal reflection. And then the +4 outside, that was like what we learned in last lesson. That takes us up 4. So we have a horizontal reflection and an up 4 translation. Okay, last one, we actually have a lot here. We have a negative outside. So we learned in this lesson that a negative outside is a vertical reflection. Then inside the function, we have -3. So inside and minus takes us to the left. So we're going left 3. And then outside the function, we have a +10. That takes us up 10. So this one had 1 reflection and 2 translations. Okay, now let's try writing equations from information about the transformations. So y equals square root of x, and we're reflecting both vertically and horizontally. So this is going to be a negative outside for the vertical, and for the horizontal, we need a negative inside. Okay, so y equals, outside the function, we need a negative. That's our vertical reflection. Then we have our function, which is the square root. And then inside there, we need a negative in front of the x. That gives us the horizontal reflection. So this is the vertical. This is the horizontal. All right, last one of this kind. So y equals x to the third, reflected vertically and translated right 17. So this is a negative outside. And then inside the function, to go right 17, we need a negative -17 inside. Okay, so y equals, outside the function, before we do anything, we need a negative for that vertical reflection. Then I'm going to go inside my function, so inside the cube, x, and then I need -17 to take us right 17. So this is our vertical reflection, the negative outside, and then minus 17 inside takes us right 17. Okay, let's practice graphing reflections. So we're going to identify the transformations, and then we're going to graph. Okay, so this one is simple. We just have one transformation, and it's a vertical reflection, right? Because we have a negative outside the function. So we're flipping over the y-axis. I'm sorry, the x-axis, my bad. We're flipping down like this over the x. So that point stays. This point, I'm going to flip it down to where it would be underneath the x-axis. And the same with this point, I flip it down. This point also gets flipped down, so that was at positive 4, so now it's going to be at negative 4. And this one was also at positive 4, so now it will be at negative 4. And then these points are at positive 9, so they're going to flip down to negative 9. So we're just basically creating a mirror image below. All right, and there's our vertically reflected graph. Okay, so we created the mirror image over the x-axis. Flipped it down. All right, next one. So this has two transformations. We have a reflection and a translation. So this is a horizontal reflection. That's the negative inside. And then we also move down 5. So let's do our reflection first. So the horizontal reflection, we want to flip this way, right? We're flipping side to side. So this point stays. This point I want to create the mirror image on the other side of the axis. And this point we're flipping it over there. So creating a mirror image, right? This one is at negative 2 right now, so it's going to flip over to positive 2. And then this point is at positive 2, so it flips over to negative 2. So our reflected graph looks like this. Okay, that's our reflection. Now, we still need to go down 5. So now we're going to take all of our points and move them down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This point, go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one is going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this one's going to fall off the graph, which is okay. We go down 1, 2, and now it's off the graph. It would be kind of like down here. Okay, and then we can connect those. Let's see. So the green graph is our final. Maybe we can highlight it. There's our final. So it's been flipped and it's been scooted down. Okay, last section, we're gonna identify the transformations by comparing to the parent graph and then try to write an equation. So the parent function for this V-shaped graph is y equals the absolute value of x. So that's gonna be the base equation that we work with. And now we wanna figure out what the transformations are. So originally this V is pointing up. The V on the green graph is pointing down, so this has been flipped vertically, right? It's been flipped down. We created a mirror image down. So this is a vertical reflection. And then this point also moved to the left. So it moved left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have two transformations, vertical reflection and left 7. Okay, y equals, the vertical reflection is a negative outside the function, so I put a negative to start. Left 7 is inside the function, so I open up the absolute value to get inside the function. And to go left, we do a plus 7, right? inside. So x plus 7 inside. And there we go. This gives us the vertical reflection. The plus 7 inside gives us the translation to the left. Okay, last one. So this shape is y equals square root of x. So that's our parent function. Okay, and what are our transformations? So clearly this has been flipped that way. We've created a mirror image side to side. So we have a horizontal reflection. And then this point has also moved up. It's moved up 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's see if we can write an equation for a horizontal reflection and up 3. So y equals, horizontal reflection is inside, so let's go under the square root. We make x negative on the inside, so we'll have a negative x inside the square root. And then to go up 3, we go outside the square root and we do plus 3. So the negative inside gives us the horizontal reflection, plus 3 outside gives us the up 3. Okay, so that is an overview of reflections and how to write equations for them and how to do the graphs.